Hi, everyone. This is Michael Gerard, and I am here to present another Astro Tidbit, this time talking about the exaltation and fall of the planet Saturn. So, just to review, if you've seen my other Astro Tidbit videos, what is this idea of exaltation? Well, it's the idea that a planet is lifted up. Other astrologers have described it as a planet who's an honored guest and the highest expression of the planet. Now, when it comes to the essential dignity of a planet, exaltation is considered often to be only second only to domicile. So that means like you're the ruler of the house or of a home, whereas exaltation would be like an honored guest in that home. However, domicile does suggest the most of a planet, both the good and the bad. Now, every one of the classical planets has a sign of exaltation as well as a specific degree of exaltation, but not every sign has an exaltation lord. And Kira Ryberg references exaltation as a kind of secondary rulership of a sign. If the sign doesn't have an exaltation lord, then triplicity becomes the secondary lord, the triplicity ruler. So let's talk about Saturn. Saturn is associated with limits and boundaries. As such, its significations include denial, because, hey, you're not going past this limit, delay, you're getting it, but only after a certain amount of time has elapsed. That's your limiting factor. Death, the boundary, which is the boundary of life. Structures, which are like the limits of physics, processes, and understanding, any of which must be changed depending on your goals. And of course, I already mentioned that time is a limiting factor, and thus Saturn is considered the planet of time. And therefore, Saturn is associated with discipline, which is change that comes over a longer period of time, as well as deliberation, taking your time. Saturn's limitations on us, therefore, include our limited ability to deal with weights and challenges. And so it's represented by lead, which is the densest of the seven metals that are associated with the seven planets. And it also should be said that Saturn is considered temperamentally cold and dry. Now, Saturn is exalted in the sign of Libra, which is represented by a pair of scales which can balance one weight, you see that word weight again, with another. Libra is associated with balance and harmony and has Venus as a domicile ruler. So the key word for Venus in Libra or as ruler of Libra is pleasantness. How can we be pleasant about something? Now, Libra is a cardinal air sign, so Saturn can create structures surrounding competing ideas and interests. So, therefore, Saturn literally does its best work when it creates balance among competing interests, and everyone has to agree to give up something or say no to something, and or agree to a structure in order to maintain pleasant harmony. So, you'll see this a lot with both peace treaties as well as trade agreements where you're getting something, I'm getting something. I don't get this thing that I really want, but you're also not getting this other thing that you really want. And overall, we're both agreeing to this because it's the best that we're going to get out of each other. And we're agreeing to this in order to maintain a pleasant harmony among us as nations. So, just to reiterate this idea, the best or highest kind of denial is one that is agreed to by everyone in the spirit of compromise. So, that's really this idea of Saturn as the exaltation lord of Libra. Now, Saturn is fallen in the sign of Aries, which is represented by a headstrong ram. Aries has Mars associated with it. So if Venus's rulership of Libra is pleasantness, then Mars's rulership of Aries is brashness. Now, Saturn's attempt to be slow and careful is more difficult in the heat of battle, which is another thing associated with the sign of Aries. Aries may want to advance or retreat, whereas Saturn tries to delay or deny either one. Saturn bristles at this martial aphorism of fortune favors the bold. He doesn't like that. He wants to be careful and cautious. Now, Saturn therefore exacts a more real world penalty. So if Saturn's unhappy, he's going to do more of the things, or she's going to do more of the things that we don't like about it. It's gonna really operate much more as that greater malefic, as opposed to when it's in exaltation, where it's doing some stuff that we don't like, but we can see the greater good out of it. So Saturn will exact more real-world penalties when it's in fall for this Aries tendency to rush in thoughtlessly, to start a fight, start a war, confront somebody, etc. And obviously, this is far more painful than the rewards of reaching agreements when Saturn is in Libra. Now, if you are interested in some more thoughts on astrology, or if you're interested in reaching out for a reading, feel free to reach out to me directly at skymirror.today, and feel free to follow me at michaelmgerard.bsky.social on the app Blue Sky. Thanks so much.